Hi, and welcome back. Today we are talking about something slightly different, which is AI. You see, I like to cover a bunch of games and that sort of thing. But one thing that has become harder and harder to avoid talking about and to avoid noticing is AI, both on YouTube but also on other social media platforms. And even more so, I think the impact AI has had in the general world is something that I've had an interest in. In my own studies, when we have been in uni or college, AI has been a huge impact for us. I work with graphics design and junior programming, and it's one of those things where when you are in that field, AI is the hugest thing. Everybody's talking about it, our teachers are trying to understand it and help us understand it. So, with that in mind, I wanted to take a look at how AI impacts not just YouTube, but also legal cases and everything in between, looking at a few studies and reports by people like MIT and Europol, but also just looking at some of the content AI is producing on YouTube that has gone absolutely viral. So let's just look at it. Now, when we're looking at AI content, it's important to look at a few different things. Firstly, I wanted to talk about the two popular videos, or like the popular things on YouTube that has been taking off like crazy lately, with this video with over 400 million views of an AI generated plane crash with an AI generated baby that is rescued by an AI generated park. It's great. Just look at this cursed piece of content. Like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. It looks like an old man screaming. It looks like that one painting of like a guy screaming, like the baby. And all of this is just so weird. Even the tear and whatnot, it looks so, I don't really even know how to put it, just so weird. There's no physics to it, it's just there. Now, when I show you something like this and we watch it in full, it's not because this is a good piece of content. You can even hear this shitty drinking noise that I think is halfway generated from something like Minecraft's drinking noise and like all the drinking noise bits you can get. And then they've just slapped it in over it. And there's a lot of that. Like here, the fucking... Again, it's the same fucking noise. It's so weird. Now, what I think is really interesting about this is not this video, because this video is clearly slop. Like, who cares? Like, the fucking military sees the puck run like that. I'm sorry, but that is cursed. I'll be putting that puck out of its misery right now. Like, holy shit. But like, when we look at these videos, you can see they are pretty popular. At least some of them are. With things like Jesus, which is actually so gory, I can't really show it to you. But a lot of these are like extremely gory. And all of these things, and that is what the AI is good at. It is good at either of the extreme ends. There's this one video that Much Critical covered at the very least, where the puck finds a mermaid, sells it to a circus, and then like drinks himself into a stupor and regrets it. It's so fucked. Now, if we look at the Jesus one, I did find that as well here. And it is again the same thing. The puck destroys a fucking sandcastle, and now the kid just abandons him. Like, the puck is a dog and runs into a sandcastle, and the kid is just like, yeah, no more dog. Now, the kid runs all the way to the car somewhere off the beach and just leaves the dog. Now, in this situation, I think you also have to ask the parents, like, why are you just leaving your dog behind? I don't think any parents are gonna listen to the kid be like, my dog destroyed the sandcastle that I just built, let's abandon him. Like, that's insane. Now, the puck is like, it's homeless now. It's like on the street eating the trash. It teleported into the city here. You can see all the cars in the background. It's eating a sandwich in the most human-like way I have ever seen a dog eat. With like the paw scraping the sandwich, all of that. And then it finds its way home. And look at this kid got another dog. I mean, look at how happy they are together. It should have been him. But he destroyed the sandcastle. How dare he? And now he walks onto the road. And this is the part I love. The fucking dog just get hit by a car. And now he's like fucking dying. And then Jesus finds him and like heals him. But like, this is like extremely gory to a certain extent with what is allowed on YouTube, right? Like, I show a little bit of gore in my video. I'm being taken off this platform. I'm being deplatformed. But an AI slop video shows like a massive amount of blood and guts on like the puck. That's fine. Who cares? And that is really one of the big trends. There are three things I've noticed in AI videos as I played: cute animals, blood, and Jesus. For some reason, Jesus is like a major theme. And you can see it as well in like these AI generated fucking America's Got Talent videos, where usually it's a pretty bad fucking video and say I've even disliked it. And then Jesus just comes in with like a paperback sun on his like fucking head. What is this even supposed to be? I mean, come the fuck on. Who's consuming this slop? Luckily, these videos at least have fallen off to the rise of things like this instead. And I honestly don't know which one I prefer. All of these are just equally bad in different ways, but they get attention. 237 million views on a pug that rescues a baby from an earthquake. 427 million views on a pug that rescues the baby from a plane crash. Like, this is insane numbers when it comes to YouTube, right? But it is not that is scaring me, because that is just one thing. What it does to online content creation is one thing. There are equivalents on TikTok and everything like that with like ASMR AI shit. But what really scares me is how AI is being used in criminal cases and how they are literally being used to generate csan. Now, if we look on reports like this one from the Internet Watch Foundation, we can see that AI was used in 3,512 csan images, which csan is the same thing as CP and that sort of thing. 90% of the images assessed by the IWF, the Internet Watch Foundation's analysts, were realistic enough to be assessed under the same laws as real csan. And this is, of course, really scary. But where it becomes scarier is if we go up here and talk about Olivia, who is a little girl that from the ages from 3 to 8 was abused, and her abusers recorded it and posted it online. Now, other predators and disgusting people have decided to take the same thing, those same videos, and deepfake them onto other videos because they want to see her in more things. And that is really fucking disgusting. It is absolutely abhorrent how this sort of thing exists. Now, deepfake videos is also one of those technologies that can be absolutely abused in this way. Deepfake videos are essentially the ability to take a picture or video of somebody and then make them do or say something that they never really did or said. And these videos are, of course, often being used for adult content. And usually it is celebrities where they put them in these adult videos and then they have them perform in them. And this is non-consensual most of the time, like 99% of the time. And it is absolutely disgusting. It is completely abhorrent. Like, I don't really know what else to say. It is really just disgusting. But that same technology can be used to take children and put them into adult videos, or more often it can take children and put them into other csan videos as the proportions of a child are closer together, because that just makes it easier for the AI to handle. And that is something that is an actual issue, as the Internet Watch Foundation mentions in this report. Some deepfake csan videos shared in a dark web forum take an adult video and adds a child's face to them. Others take existing csan material and adds a different child's face to them. Because the original videos are of a real children, they have the proportions of a child. They can be especially convincing. One impressed forum user said, "I knew about deepfakes. This is so on point. The colors, the shading, the no glitches, truly mind-blowing. Absolutely disgusting stuff when you know in which light this has been discussed." And deepfakes is one of those technologies that I have a hard time understanding the use case for. There's really only one that I can see an argue for, and that is like the memes. I think there are some legitimately funny AI generated memes out there where they like, especially the Obama shit, like the presidents, where they do weird things with those. That's kind of funny. I can see the use there. But in most cases, what is the use case of a deepfake video? If it isn't to produce adult material or anything like that, then why not just re-record it? If you are using it to replace footage in a video, or a video sounds weird and you're just writing a new script but you're too lazy to record that part of the video, then either just don't be lazy and re-record it, or maybe just consider cutting that part of the video out. I don't know what these half-convincing deepfakes is really gonna do. And I honestly don't understand the use case for it specifically here, right? Like, this is weird. Why would you ever use a deepfake for anything other than adult videos? Like, I don't understand it. And if anybody can come up with any form of arguments or anything like that for why deepfakes are actually good, then go ahead. But like, I can't really see any reasons for deepfakes to really exist other than to spread misinformation and make adult content, and now also being used to abuse children, which is just completely fucking disgusting. I hate the fact that this new technology can be used in these really bad ways. And it has to go with saying, with the grain of salt that I want to put throughout this video, AI is a tool. Ultimately, the perpetrators of these things are the people who are sick individuals who deserves the worst things life has to give them. It is not on the tool necessarily. It is just a question of what can the tool actually be used for. A hammer can be used for building. It can be used for nailing that nail into the fucking wood, right? What the fuck can a deepfake be used for? I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Like, to edit a video slightly faster? I don't fucking know. I don't see the use case here. I really don't. Other than to spread misinformation, or maybe, I guess, to create some sort of slop video. Anyway, there are other crimes that I want to discuss with you that also have been brought up in other reports, so let's just move on to Europol. Now, one other report I wanted to take a look at with you is this Europol's Innovation Lab report on deepfakes, specifically law enforcement and the challenges of deepfakes. If we just look at one example here that I find particularly interesting, it is essentially a picture that shows you the pixel difference, or like the difference in a deepfake image. Now, in this image that they show is from 2018, where this was the pixel difference. Of course, in 2018, a lot of the deepfake tools that we have were way worse. They are infinitely better now, and there were other telltale signs. But just here, it's still pretty fucking good. And like, with this being the literal pixel difference, that's kind of insane, especially if you think of the uses for misinformation. Now, this Europol report also talks about the uses for deepfakes to spread misinformation. And one instance that they go with is prior to the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the United States reveals a Russian plot to use deepfake videos to justify an invasion of Ukraine after the invasion happened. Officials of the Ukrainian government warned that Russia might spread deepfake videos that would show the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky surrendering. This fear appears to have become a reality after hackers made a Ukrainian news website show a video of President Zelensky telling his soldiers to surrender. Now, that is of course really fucking scary, as it blatantly shows the uses for misinformation here, as it is literally never happened. It is just a fake video that appeared on a news website one day. And of course, uses like this for AI is where it really becomes scary on a global plane, where it can influence decisions from governments or entire peoples. It is really scary to see how this technology can be used to just spread blatant misinformation. The video in question in the report is probably this one as far as I can tell, but Zelensky appears to just tell the Ukrainian army to lay down arms and surrender to Russia. It is entirely fake and is being used to spread misinformation. And it is really kind of scary, as it is one government body essentially just making a fake video to demoralize another government body. And the uses for this technology like that is almost endless. You can make people appear to say things that they never did in a realistic enough manner that some people will probably believe it for a bit. And that's kind of scary, because that can be used in a numerous amount of ways, right? And all of them are bad. Like, there's nothing good to be found here, as you can make people say a lot of hateful things about certain groups of people by just using this technology. And that is something that Europol also gets in on. Now, one other use of these deepfakes is specifically that of spreading not just misinformation, but deliberately altering material, which can allow actual criminals to get away. And as an example, they mentioned here, altered material on social media about events such as demonstrations may lead to police coming into action where it is not necessary. which is again really fucking scary, or in the wrong place. In police investigations, law enforcement may chase the wrong suspect of a crime when a deepfake version of the suspect fleeing a crime scene goes viral on social media, thereby giving the suspect the opportunity to get away. Which essentially is to say that these fake videos, these fake uses of it, where you can spread actual crimes or like illegal crimes or like people doing things that they never did, can be used to distract police to actually get away with the real crimes. Another use of deepfakes, of course, is also making people do or say things that they never did or said. Using deepfakes, people could falsely portray police officers committing transgressions in order to discredit the police or incite violence against officers. And this sentence right here can also be used on every other group of people out there. Who is to say that there won't be somebody making a video about any minority group or any group of people, making them out to just be bad? And that is genuinely really fucking scary. We already live in a time where people don't really seem to be getting along, and using AI tools, bad perpetrators and people, bad actors, like people who really don't want these things to get better, can use them to spread their own agenda while completely fabricating events. That is fucking, again, that is scary, and it's one of those things that I'm happy that at least Europol are looking into ways of combating, because this is incredibly fucking dangerous. It goes without saying it can be really dangerous, but where it really also can be scary is when that technology is used to incite violence against a minority group or any of these other groups of people. Again, scary fucking shit. Now, within the same Europol report, they also give us a short list of where these crimes could sort of appear, or where this technology could be used in crimes, which include harassment, fraud, facilitating document fraud, falsifying your identity to frauding customers, non-consensual adult material, csan, falsifying or manipulating electronic evidence, disrupting by the financial market, and so on. The list is really endless with it, and I am happy that they do have a list of sort of things that they are looking at, because these are scary times and these are scary technologies, and it's important to sort of at the very least try to regulate them and try to make rules and put rules in place that makes it so that we can sort of live with them. And that brings me to the next document. Now, with the use of AI also comes the question, does AI make us dumber? And a study from MIT suggests that yes, it does make us dumber. Now, within the study, what they did is essentially they had 3 groups of people, one that could not use AI or the internet, one that could use AI, and one that could use the internet, and then they just made them rewrite an essay, and then they'll swap them around between the groups as they moved. So maybe the group that used AI first then wouldn't be able to use AI at all, or the internet for that matter, and then they'll like sort of track their connectivity and how their brain was sort of functioning and taking on this information. And the results is that in general, AI seems to make you dumber. As the educational impact of LLMs use only begins to settle in the general population, in this study we demonstrate the present matter of a likely decrease in learning skills based on the results of our study. The use of LLMs had a measurable impact on participants, and while the benefits were initially apparent as demonstrated over the course of the 4 months, the LLM's group's participant performed worse than their counterpart in the brain-only group at all levels: neural, linguistic, and scoring. And now what that essentially means is that cognitively, the LLM group, or like the group that used ChatGPT, they were just more clocked out the entire time. Now, in the same study, when they talk about summarizing the results, they mention this. We believe that some of our most striking observations in our study stems from session 4, where the brain to LLM participants showed higher neural connectivity than the LLM group's session 1, 2, and 3. Never white spots in alpha, beta, and theta and delta band directed connectivity. This suggests that rewriting an essay using AI tools after prior AI-free writing engaged more extensive brain and network interactions in contrast to the LLM2 brain group. Being exposed to LLMs prior demonstrated less coordinated neural effort in most bands, as well as a bias in the LLM's specific vocabulary. Though scored high on both AI judge and human teachers, their essays stood out less in terms of distance of neargrams usage compared to other sessions in other groups. On the topic level, few diverged significantly and almost orthodoxly like happiness or philanthropic topics in between LLM and brain groups. Essentially, in the study, when they took people that used AIs before they would write, they were worse at writing and they were like overall connected less with the things that they were doing. And when they took people who didn't use AI before, who were just free brains out there, and then put them to use AI, they actually learned to engage better with AI too. Now, as to the working theory of why this is, why AI might make you a little bit dumber, essentially the studies at MIT, the professors mentioned this. The convenience of the instant answer that an LLM provides can encourage passive consumption of information, which may lead to superficial engagement, weakening critical thinking skills, less deep understanding of the materials, and less long-term memory formation. The reduced levels of cognitive engagement could also contribute to a decrease in decision-making skills, and in turn foster habits of procrastination and laziness in both students and educators. Additionally, due to the instant availabilities of responses to almost any question, LLMs can possibly make a learning process feel effortless and prevent users from attempting any independent problem solving by simply the process of obtaining new answers. LLMs could decrease student motivations to perform independent research and generate solutions. Lack of mental stimulation could lead to a decrease in cognitive development and negatively impact memory. The use of LLMs can lead to fewer opportunities for direct human-to-human interactions or social learning, which plays a pivotal role in learning and memory formation. Collaborative learning, as well as discussions with other peers and colleagues and teachers, are critical for the comprehension and retention of learning material. With the use of LLMs for learning also comes privacy and security issues, as well as plagiarism concerns. Yang et al., sorry if I butchered that, conducted a study with a high school student in a programming course. The experimental group used ChatGPT to assist with learning programming, while the control group was only exposed to traditional teaching methods. The results showed that the experimental group had a lower flow of experienced self-efficiency and learning performance compared to the control group. Essentially, when they took a high school group learning programming and one of them pretty much just used ChatGPT and one didn't, they showed that the group that used ChatGPT was much more reliant on getting their answers instantly fed to them. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is actually because I was looking for a specific number. I was looking for the source of the claim that 90% of the internet is going to be AI by 2026. And while I could find a bunch of articles that mentioned it, I could never really find any specific report, source, or anything like that for it. However, what I did find instead was this, which is a report that mentions that 40% of the internet is already AI. Now, in this report made by the School of Agriculture, Environment, and Veterinary Sciences at Charles Sturt University. Now, essentially, they mentioned that while an increasingly evident that the internet is becoming saturated with content created by generated AI large language models, or LLMs, accurately measuring the scale of the phenomenon has proven challenging. By analyzing the frequency of keywords commonly used by ChatGPT, this paper demonstrates such linguistic markers can effectively be used to estimate the presence of generated AI content. And what they found is that there's an approximate 40 to 30% of the sort of text on the web that is AI generated. Most of that is probably translations and that sort of thing, where you just get an AI to translate an entire web page from English to whatever other language. But that is still a large amount of the internet. Now, of course, that is way less than the 90% claim, or like even close to it. But as we move closer towards these numbers, I could see a future where most content and most things are made by AI. And it is genuinely kind of terrifying to me. Not in the sense that, oh no, YouTube or whatever. But no, I just don't like the idea of coming into something where it used to be all run by a human. We used to have all of these creative people doing all of these creative things, and now it's all AI. I really don't like that. But to conclude this video, I do want to end up with something positive. Now, in regards to this, it's easy to feel hopeless. It's easy to feel like there's no solution and that we're all just stuck here, and that there's nothing that we can personally do to sort of try to get these problems tackled. The best thing and the best suggestion I have is to support things like the Internet Watch Foundation. The Internet Watch Foundation does provide legitimate ideas and sort of legislation that could be used to lessen the impact of AI, or specifically the use of AI for csan. And one of the examples of that is essentially making it illegal to use personal data or digital information to create models or files that facilitate the creation of AI or computer-generated csan. But I'll go as far as saying any computer adult content that is unconsensual should not be allowed. And I think a lot of these things are sort of things that we can discuss. By bringing awareness to it, by talking about it, we are providing a better space. In terms of the creative process, I think the best thing that could happen is for YouTube and whatnot to ban these AI channels. But obviously that's not going to happen. You saw it yourself with your own eyes. Some of those AI videos have 400 million views. That's a lot of clams for YouTube, I'm just saying. So I doubt that we're going to live in a future where YouTube decides to just hammer down on it until it creates a massive shitstorm for them. And that's kind of sad, as YouTube is a bastion for creativity. Even within the slop content, I feel like there's still some form of human soul put into it. There's a little bit of yourself that when you create a video that gets smashed into it, right? And unfortunately, with AI, that little bit of yourself that you put into your projects disappear. And it is one of the saddest things to live through and see, where this creative space goes from being something where people were creative, or at least attempted to be. And while there were people, even like myself, who made this sort of quote slop content, that might not be as good as editing and all of these things, it was still a place where people attempted to get better, to see new things and so on. And to see that being filled with this AI slop, honestly, it's not great, like, let's just be honest. Just because something can exist doesn't mean it should. But, like I've said a few times throughout this video, the AI is a tool. And there are legitimately good AI tools. There are AI tools that remove breath sounds from videos. And I've tried to use them, and while they don't always work for me, there are essentially tools for it. And there are legitimately good uses of it. Sometimes within my thumbnails, I use AI tools to sort of remove things when it becomes too much of a bother or a hassle for me to do. As an example, there was a black spot in my Black Myth Wukong thumbnail, so I used an AI to just generate this shit and fill up with something else. And there are uses for it. And while people like Mr. Beast like to introduce these new AI models that can steal your thumbnail, or they don't steal, I'm sorry, they get inspired and create something that almost looks exactly like the additional thumbnail, definitely not anything wrong with that. No, sorry. While they do hurt creativity, it is ultimately a tool. And a tool can be used in a lot of different ways. AI can be used for good. I try to engage critically with AI when I get the chance. When I've learned programming or JavaScript and all of those things that I've used in my studies, I have myself used AI tools, but I try to understand the code that it's writing out. I try to understand why it is there. And like the researchers at MIT talked about, you can use AI in a good way. It is about how much we engage with that material and with the AI's output that really matters here. And right now, it is not at all. People are just eating it up raw. And that is pretty bad because critical thinking skills is something that we have always needed, and it's something that has become dangerously lacking as of late. Now, not really the positive ending that I wanted it to be. But I do want to say AI is a tool. People can use it the way that they want to. But of course, there's always going to be people who use it in a bad way. The only way we can tackle this, in my opinion, in my thought process, would be to have governments legislate it. Anyway, that's been it for me. I'm sorry, this video was a lot different from what I usually do. I fell into the rabbit hole of it while searching for these numbers and trying to understand all of these things, and yeah, I sort of ended up finding it really interesting. And I hope it's something that we can do more of in the future, where I just maybe cover something that isn't exactly video games, not because I don't want to cover video games, but because I have a lot of different interests. And for me, YouTube is about broadcasting myself and my interests, and I treat this channel almost as a fucking diary. Like, this is just things that I'm interested in talking about, so I talk about them. And anyway, if you have enjoyed this, if you have found anything informative, or if you just want to read the studies, they're in the description. Go and check them out. I think you should educate yourself, critical thinking, right? Like, go and educate yourself, read the report yourself, get invested in this yourself, because it is an interesting field. But if you've enjoyed what you saw, do the YouTube stuff if you want to. If you don't, then you don't. That's fine, but I hope you have a wonderful day regardless, and I'll see you all later.